Hey guys, it's Caden, and welcome to another Autism Digest interview, where today we have an individual that I'm really excited to be interviewing. The first openly autistic NASCAR driver, and someone who was diagnosed with autism around the same time I was diagnosed at age 2, Armani Williams. Thanks for coming on, Armani.
Yeah, thank you, Caden. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited.
All right, the first question that I always ask all of my guests is, for those of you who don't know the story of Armani Williams, what's your story?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, like I happened to be diagnosed with autism when I was 2 years old. And, just throughout my life, I was just trying to figure out what my path would be. I think I figured out early on that I started loving cars. I would I would get like a collection of Hot Wheel and Matchbox cars at any store that I could get and just play some racing with it. And then I remember one time when I got a birthday present or some sort of Christmas present of a diecast version of a NASCAR car. And that's when I started learning about NASCAR. And I thought to myself, you know what? This NASCAR thing sounds pretty cool. Haven't seen it before. I wanted to check it out. And I watched my first race at a very young age when it was on television. And automatically I was just hooked. And every weekend NASCAR would be on, I would just watch it every moment, every minute. It went from having a passion with cars to then having a passion for racing. And, you know, eventually I figured out that, you know what, this is maybe something that I wanted to do. I wanted to do what those guys were doing on TV, was to be a professional race car driver. And so I started racing when I was 8 years old in go-karts, kind of like how a lot of young race car drivers start out. Had some good success there, and then moved my way up to what were called the mini cups, which is like kind of a half-size version of a NASCAR car like you see on TV. And won a few features, won a lot of heat races, did those for a few years, had a lot of success. And then I moved my way up to what was then called the ARCA Pro Series, which was a Midwest regional series where we raced in Michigan, Indiana, and Illinois, and had some tremendous success there until finally I worked my way after I got the call from one of NASCAR's programs called the NASCAR Driver Diversity Program, which was essentially taking, drivers of diversity and minorities, and giving them an opportunity to continue to move up the ladder in their racing career, to test their racing skills, to test how they are, off the track as far as, physical condition, how you talk with the media. And so I went through that a couple times in their program, which was really great exposure for me, because I think it is what helped NASCAR give me the exposure that I needed and have the opportunity to move up to NASCAR. And, funny enough, they wanted me to start off in a NASCAR series that they had up in Canada, believe it or not. So not just in the US, but up in Canada, called the NASCAR Pinty Series, and this is where I was really racing against like very much pro drivers, which happened to be, one of Canada's best. And it really taught me a lot, just how to be a professional driver on and off the track, learning from so many drivers from that series that been racing for a long time. Then I came back to the US, while still racing in NASCAR in what was called the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East and West. It's now ARCA West and ARCA East Series, to then making a couple ARCA Menards Series in 2020, and then worked my way up to racing in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in 2021, and raced that series for a few years. To then I made a few starts last year in what was the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So this is where I am. Like, I'm kind of in one of the three NASCAR top level series, starting with the trucks. Now I move my way up to Xfinity, and it's just, I've always loved racing from the very jump, and I just always wanted to do it for a long time. So it's just through everything I had to overcome with autism, to get to where I am today. I'm just very blessed and very happy to be be where I be.
I'm the same. Hey, that's very impressive, especially starting at 8 years old. When I was 8, I couldn't even ride a bike. But with that said, Ed, how do you think autism helps you when you're on the racetrack?
Yeah, I think with autism, I think one unique ability that we do have as people with autism is we have a very laser-like focus on things that interest us, things that like get our attention a lot. And so to me, racing was no different. Like, I mean, the speeds that the race car goes nowadays, like 180, 190, sometimes 200 miles an hour. I mean, it's insane to think about, right? So you're in that race car and, things are happening so fast in front of you, behind you, and then around you that you just have to like use that ability of that high level of concentration just to be ready for what might happen ahead or what might happen around you. Like you're running at those speeds, yeah, your adrenaline starts kicking up and you don't think about anything else. You're just focused on like what's going on in front of you and understanding what exactly you have to do on the racetrack as far as hitting your marks, how you're going to pass a car, and so many things, how you're going to try and avoid a wreck. All that is from the laser like focus that we have inside the race car. And so I say that's one thing, at least with having autism, that I could say it's given me a unique kind of advantage that I don't think a lot of drivers necessarily have.
I absolutely agree. I've seen some of your races, and you're extremely talented on the track, which leads me to my next question. For anyone wanting to get into NASCAR or any sport for that matter, neurodivergent or not, what would your advice be for them?
Yeah, my advice would be really to, I mean, because I think, now that I've done it, a lot of other people with autism can do it too. Racing is a unique type of sport. So if it's exactly what you want to do, you got to start as early as possible to help you be able to garner the opportunities that you want to get down the road. And then make sure you do what you need to do on the track to be successful, like running well and winning races and things like that nature. But I think most importantly, you want to have the right people around you. You want to have a great support system around you that will, help you continue to move up the ladder so that they can be able to help you to succeed. You got to have the ability to network a lot of people that, believe in you and are wanting you to be successful, and because like in racing, you just can't, achieve success or continue to move up the ladder by yourself. So as long as you got the right people, you have the right support system, and you truly stay encouraged, and continue to believe in yourself and still continue to work hard at it, then all the possibilities and opportunities are endless. So I think all of that together is what I would advise people with autism like me who want to get into racing. That's what I believe they should do.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's really good advice. My last question for you is what do you think the future holds for your racing career? Could we see you in Formula One in the future? Sure. Maybe Daytona and Indianapolis 500s?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Like I've had some people say like whether I should try Formula One, and I got to tell you, like that's a different kind of beast. I mean, it'd be amazing if like that were to happen, but I don't know about that, but I would say for what that future holds with me is like NASCAR for as long as I can be, and continue to be the role model for the millions of people, individuals, families who have been impacted by autism, to help inspire them, to give them some light at the end of the tunnel, bring them some hope. But that no matter if you have autism, anybody can succeed and contribute to this world. So I still want to continue that, and maybe there'll be some other opportunities down the road where I can try out some other disciplines of racing. Like I know there's lots of open wheel series out there, like including Indianapolis 500 with those Indy cars, and so there is that possibility of trying those types of those cars out and see like how I would do racing them. And so, like whatever race car that I can get to race is what I want to be doing for a long time. And I hope that's what the future holds for me.
I'm sure. Oh man, thank you so much for coming on. So that's going to do it, guys. If you guys want to see more inspiring interviews, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Autism Digest. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right. Thank you.